My name is Tom, and I was born in a beautiful, small village filled with green fields and tall trees. The people here were kind and welcoming. When I was young, I didn't know English because, in our village, we spoke our local language. Life was simple, and everyone was content. One day, an old man visited our village and shared stories with us. One story was about a boy who learned English. This boy traveled the world, met many people, and had countless adventures. As I listened to the old man, my eyes widened. I wanted to be like that boy. I wanted to learn English and explore the world, but I didn't know where to start. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, but the story of the boy stayed with me. Every night, I would dream of seeing new places and meeting new people. But every morning, I'd wake up feeling stuck in my small village, unsure of how to make my dreams come true. One day, my teacher, Mrs. Lee, noticed my interest. She was one of the few people in our village who could speak English. After class, she approached me. "Tom, I've noticed you seem very interested in learning English." "Is that true?" she asked. I nodded eagerly. "Yes, Mrs. Lee, I want to learn English and travel the world, just like the boy in the old man's story." Mrs. Lee smiled warmly and said, "That's wonderful, Tom. Learning a new language isn't easy, but with determination and hard work, you can do it. I can help you get started." From that day, Mrs. Lee began teaching me English after school. We started with the basics, the alphabet, and simple words. It was challenging, but I was determined. I practiced every day, repeating words until they felt familiar. Mrs. Lee was patient and encouraging, always finding ways to make learning fun. As weeks passed, I started understanding more. I could introduce myself, ask for directions, and talk about my family and village. I felt proud of my progress, though I knew I still had a long way to go. One day, while practicing, I asked Mrs. Lee, "How did you learn English?" She paused, then said, "When I was young, I dreamed of becoming a teacher, but I needed to learn English. I worked hard, reading books, listening to English radio, and practicing with anyone who would listen. It wasn't easy, but I never gave up." Her story inspired me. If Mrs. Lee could do it, so could I. I asked her if she had any English books I could borrow. She smiled and handed me a small, worn-out book. "This was the first book one read in English," she said. "Take good care of it." The book was The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. I carefully opened it and began to read. At first, it was difficult. The words seemed strange, but I kept at it, looking up words I didn't understand and practicing my pronunciation. As I read, I felt a connection to Tom Sawyer, a mischievous boy who had his own adventures. I admired his curiosity and bravery. I wanted to be brave like him and face challenges without fear. The more I read, the more my English improved. I even started thinking and dreaming in English. One day, while reading in the village square, a group of children gathered around me, curious about the book. "What's it about?" one of them asked. Smiling, I began to tell them the story of Tom Sawyer and his adventures. As I spoke, I realized how much my English had improved. The children were captivated, and soon they, too, wanted to learn English. I became their unofficial teacher, sharing what I had learned from Mrs. Lee and my books. Together, we practiced speaking, reading, and writing in English. It felt amazing to pass on what I had learned and see others excited about learning. As time went on, I continued to improve. Mrs. Lee introduced me to more books, and I began listening to English songs and watching English movies. Through language, I discovered a whole new world. My dream of traveling and meeting new people felt closer than ever. One day, a traveler from a distant country visited our village. He spoke English, and I gathered my courage to approach him. "Hello," I said. "Welcome to our village." He smiled and replied, "Thank you. It's nice to meet someone who speaks English here." We started talking, and I shared my journey of learning English with him. He was impressed and encouraged me to keep going. "Learning a new language opens so many doors," he said. "You can connect with people worldwide and experience different cultures." His words stayed with me. I realized learning English was more than just learning a language, it was a way to connect with the world. I felt more determined than ever to chase my dreams. Years went by, and I worked hard on my English. Eventually, I moved to a larger town to attend a school with more resources and opportunities. It was a big change from my small village, but I adapted quickly. I made friends from different backgrounds and learned about their cultures. One day, I received a letter from an international organization. They had heard about my efforts to learn English and my passion for sharing knowledge. They offered me a scholarship to study abroad. Overjoyed, I accepted. With the support of my family, friends, and teachers, I traveled to a new country. There, English was the primary language, and I immersed myself in my studies, attended language workshops, and joined cultural exchange programs. During my time abroad, I traveled to different countries, met amazing people, and experienced incredible adventures. I visited famous landmarks, tried new foods, and learned about diverse customs. These experiences broadened my understanding of the world and deepened my appreciation for diversity. One of my most memorable moments was giving a speech at an international conference. I shared my story of learning English and how it had changed my life. I spoke about the importance of education and the power of determination. The audience was moved by my journey, and I received a standing ovation. It was a moment I would never forget. When I completed my studies, I returned to my village. I was welcomed with warmth and excitement by my family and friends. They were proud of what I had achieved and eager to hear about my adventures. Back in my village, I wanted to give back to the community that had supported me. So, I started an English learning center to help others learn the language. I taught classes, organized language exchange programs, and provided resources for self-study. It was rewarding to see the positive impact and witness people's progress. Through the Learning Center, I met people of all ages with dreams of exploring the world or improving their job prospects. Their dedication inspired me. One day, Mrs. Lee visited the center. She looked around with pride and said, "Tom, you've created something truly special here. You've become a beacon of hope and inspiration for our village." Her words meant the world to me. I thanked her for her guidance and support. Without her, I wouldn't have achieved my dreams. As the years went by, the English Learning Center continued to grow. We expanded our programs, invited guest speakers, and even collaborated with international organizations. Our village became known as a place where people could learn and thrive. Reflecting on my journey, I realized that learning English unlocked countless opportunities. It connected me with people from diverse backgrounds, allowed me to travel, and gave me the tools to make a difference. The story of the boy who learned English had come full circle. Today, I continue to teach and inspire others. I share my story with new generations, encouraging them to dream big and work hard. I remind them that, with determination and the right support, they can achieve anything. Learning English was just the beginning. It opened doors to friendships, opportunities, and the world itself. It taught me the value of perseverance and the importance of giving back. And most importantly, it showed me that dreams can become reality with passion and dedication. Standing in front of my students, I see the same spark of curiosity and excitement in their eyes that I once had. I know that they too will achieve great things, and I am honored to be a part of their journey, just as Mrs. Lee was a part of mine. As the years went by, the English Learning Center grew and expanded, welcoming people from all walks of life. Maria and I continued our conversations, and I noticed that more and more students were coming to the center, eager to learn. It was as though our small village had become a hub of hope for anyone who dared to dream of something greater. Each person who came through the doors brought their own unique story, their own struggles, and their own dreams. I learned that language was not just a tool for communication, but a bridge that connected people to a world of opportunities. I could see the changes it brought in people's lives, just as it had in mine. One evening, I sat with Maria and some of the other teachers at the center, reflecting on our progress. We spoke about the future of the center, about the possibilities we could offer to our students. There was a collective sense of pride as we discussed how far we had come. What started as a simple idea, born from my own struggle to learn English, had transformed into something much bigger, a place where people could come together, share their dreams, and create a better future for themselves. The center had become a symbol of hope, and with every passing day, we saw more success stories unfold. Students who had started with little knowledge of the language were now fluent, traveling abroad, and even starting their own businesses. It was a constant reminder that with determination, anything was possible. One of the most heartwarming stories came from Aisha, the young girl I had met at one of my speaking engagements. She had attended my speech with such enthusiasm and had approached me afterward with tears in her eyes, telling me how much she wanted to learn English. Her excitement reminded me of my younger self, and I knew right then that she would be someone special. Aisha's journey was not an easy one. She faced many challenges, but her determination never wavered. She attended every class, took extra lessons, and practiced every chance she got. Slowly but surely, her English improved. What started as broken sentences and timid conversations turned into fluent speech and confident discussions. Watching her progress was one of the most rewarding parts of my work at the center. I remember one afternoon, Aisha came up to me after class with a big smile on her face. "Mr. Tom," she said, "I can understand everything now. I can speak with people from different countries, and I don't feel afraid anymore." Her words filled me with so much pride. And I couldn't help but think of all the people whose lives had been changed through their own hard work, just like Aisha's. But the center's influence extended beyond just language learning. We had begun to introduce new courses in areas such as entrepreneurship, computer skills, and cultural studies. Our goal was to give our students the tools they needed to thrive in a globalized world. It was about more than just learning English. It was about empowering people to take charge of their futures and create the lives they dreamed of. I had always believed that education was the key to unlocking potential, and now I saw firsthand how it could transform lives. The center had become a family, a community where everyone supported each other, where success was celebrated, and where failures were seen as opportunities to learn and grow. One of the most powerful experiences was when we organized exchange trips for our students. These trips were not just about learning a language, they were about expanding horizons, experiencing new cultures, and gaining a deeper understanding of the world. One trip that stood out to me was to South Korea, where my parents had grown up. For me, the trip was deeply personal. I had always felt a strong connection to my Korean roots, but visiting the country and reconnecting with my family's history brought a new sense of understanding. It was a humbling experience to walk the streets where my ancestors had once lived, to visit the small village where my parents had grown up, and to meet relatives I had never known. During the trip, I took the students to visit historical sites, attend traditional festivals, and even stay with local families. The students were excited to immerse themselves in a new culture, and it was heartwarming to see them embrace the experience with open arms. For many of them, it was their first time traveling outside of our village, and they returned home with new perspectives on life and the world around them. But it wasn't just about the students, it was about me, too. The trip to South Korea reminded me of the importance of family and heritage. I had always been proud of my background, but seeing it through the eyes of others gave me a deeper appreciation for my culture and the sacrifices my family had made to give me a better life. It was a reminder of where I came from, and it reignited my passion for preserving and sharing that heritage with the world. Back at the center, we started incorporating more cultural heritage programs into our curriculum. We encouraged students to explore their own backgrounds and take pride in their roots. We organized events where people could share their traditions, stories, and life experiences. These gatherings became a celebration of diversity, bringing together people from different generations and walks of life. One of the most memorable events was a storytelling night we organized. People from all backgrounds shared their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. Some spoke of their childhoods, others of their journeys to a new life. The room was filled with emotion as laughter, tears, and applause echoed throughout. It was a powerful reminder of the importance of storytelling in preserving our histories and connecting with one another. As the years went on, I continued to travel and share my story with others. Each new experience brought new insights and inspiration. I met people from all over the world, each with their own story of resilience and hope. One of the most moving encounters was with a group of refugees who had fled their war-torn country. Their stories of survival and determination left a deep mark on me. Despite the hardships they had faced, their spirits remained unbroken. It was through these encounters that I realized the true power of language. It wasn't just about communication, it was about rebuilding lives. For these refugees, learning a new language meant more than just speaking, it meant connecting with the world, opening doors, and creating new opportunities. Inspired by their stories, I started a new initiative at our center to support refugees and displaced individuals. We offered language classes, vocational training, and counseling services to help them integrate into their new communities. The impact was profound. Many of these individuals had come from difficult circumstances, but with the right support, they were able to rebuild their lives and create new futures for themselves. One young woman, Amal, stood out to me. She had fled her country with her family, leaving behind everything they had known. Despite the challenges she faced, Amal was determined to create a better life. She embraced every opportunity that came her way, attending classes, participating in workshops, and volunteering to help others. Her journey was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, and I was proud to support her every step of the way. The story of Amal's journey with our education and community center became an example of how determination, resilience, and support could bring lasting change. Amal's story reinforced the importance of our mission, that education, paired with community support, has the power to transform lives. Her journey from adversity to hope inspired all of us at the center. Over time, our village became known as a place where inclusivity and support thrived. Visitors from around the world came to learn from our programs, and our English Learning Center became a model for others. It demonstrated that education and cultural exchange could bridge gaps, fostering understanding across different cultures. One day, a group of educators and policymakers visited us. They were interested in learning from our approach and seeing how they could implement similar programs in their own communities. During their visit, we held workshops and discussions about best practices in language learning and cultural exchange. They were moved by the dedication of our staff and volunteers, and even more so by the stories of our students. One visitor, a professor from a prestigious university, approached me and asked, "Your work here is remarkable. Have you ever considered expanding your programs on a larger scale?" Her words planted a seed in my mind. While we had impacted our village, I realized that there were countless other communities where our programs could make a difference. The idea of expanding was both exciting and daunting, but with the support of Maria and the team, we decided to pursue it. Our first step was to partner with nearby communities, helping them establish their own learning centers. One such community, a few hours away, had a large immigrant and refugee population eager to learn English. We worked closely with local leaders and educators to set up a new center. Though we faced challenges like securing funding and finding facilities, our perseverance paid off, and the center became a vibrant hub of activity, fostering a sense of belonging for all who participated. The success of that partnership encouraged us to expand even further. We established more learning centers in different regions, each tailored to meet local needs. One of our most ambitious projects took place in a remote area with limited access to education and resources. Despite the obstacles, including poverty and social isolation, we persevered. The community rallied behind the effort, and when the center finally opened, people of all ages came to learn and connect. It was a beacon of hope, offering education, vocational training, and essential support services. One of the most inspiring moments was when an elderly woman named Fatima, who had never had the chance to attend school, approached me. She wanted to learn to read and write. With the help of our volunteers, she made incredible progress. When she read her first sentence, the joy on her face was indescribable. Fatima's story reminded us why we do this work and reinforced our commitment to making a difference. As our network of learning centers grew, we also focused on building a global community of educators, volunteers, and learners. We hosted international conferences, online forums, and exchange programs, fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing across borders. One of the most significant moments came when we hosted an international conference in our village, where educators, students, and policymakers from around the world came together to share experiences and discuss innovative approaches to language learning and community development. During the conference, I met Dr. Kim, a renowned linguist and educator. She was impressed by our work and proposed a collaboration on a research project to study the impact of our programs. The project involved gathering data, conducting interviews, and analyzing the outcomes of our programs. The results were overwhelmingly positive, showing the benefits of language learning and cultural exchange. It also highlighted areas where we could improve and grow, ensuring our programs remained impactful and relevant. The impact of our work was not just about education, it was about building a sense of community, fostering understanding, and empowering individuals to achieve their fullest potential. As we continue our journey, we remain committed to expanding our reach, improving our programs, and making a difference in the lives of people around the world. The story of Amal and countless others like her will continue to inspire us to keep moving forward, knowing that with each step, we change lives, build communities, and make the world a better place. We use these insights to refine our programs, develop new strategies, and enhance our impact. The collaboration with Dr. Kim was a turning point, providing a solid foundation for our future initiatives and reinforcing our commitment to evidence-based practices. As we continued to expand our reach, we faced new challenges. The world was changing rapidly, with technological advancements, social shifts, and global events shaping the landscape of education and cultural exchange. We had to adapt and innovate to stay relevant and effective. One of the key changes was the integration of digital technology into our programs. We developed online platforms and resources, making our courses and materials accessible to a wider audience. This was particularly important for reaching remote and underserved communities where access to education was limited. We also embraced new methodologies such as blended learning, gamification, and interactive storytelling. These approaches made learning more engaging and effective, catering to different learning styles and preferences. Our students could now learn at their own pace, access resources anytime and anywhere, and participate in virtual exchanges with peers from around the world. The digital transformation also opened up new opportunities for collaboration and innovation. We partnered with tech companies, educational institutions, and nonprofit organizations to develop cutting-edge solutions and expand our reach. These collaborations brought fresh perspectives and expertise, enhancing the quality and impact of our programs. One of the most exciting developments was a virtual exchange program we launched in partnership with a university in the United States. Students from our learning centers could participate in online classes, cultural exchanges, and collaborative projects with their peers in the U.S. The program provided a unique opportunity for cross-cultural learning and collaboration, fostering mutual understanding and respect. The virtual exchange program was a resounding success. Students from different backgrounds and cultures worked together on projects, shared their experiences, and built lasting friendships. The program also provided valuable skills and knowledge, preparing them for a globalized world. As our programs continue to evolve and expand, I often reflected on the journey that had brought us here. From a small village with limited resources, we had grown into a global network of learning centers, reaching thousands of people and making a tangible impact on their lives. It was a testament to the power of education, community, and collaboration. I also thought about the people who had been part of this journey, each contributing in their own way. Mrs. Lee, who had sparked my passion for learning and guided me in my early days. Maria, whose enthusiasm and dedication had brought new energy to our programs. Amal, Fatima, Aisha, and countless others who had inspired us with their stories and resilience. Their stories were a reminder of the importance of human connection and the impact we can have on one another's lives. They reinforced the belief that education is not just about acquiring knowledge, but about empowering individuals, fostering understanding, and building a better world. Looking ahead, I knew that there were still many challenges to overcome and opportunities to explore. The world was constantly changing, and we needed to stay agile and innovative to continue making a difference. But I was confident in our ability to adapt and thrive, driven by our shared vision and commitment. One of our future goals was to establish a global network of learning hubs, each tailored to the specific needs and context of its community. These hubs would serve as centers of excellence, providing education, resources, and support to empower individuals and communities. They would also foster collaboration and exchange, creating a global community of learners and changemakers. We also aimed to strengthen our partnerships with educational institutions, governments, and organizations. By working together, we could leverage our collective expertise and resources to scale our impact and address global challenges. These partnerships would be crucial in driving systemic change and promoting inclusive and equitable education for all. Another key focus was sustainability and resilience. We wanted to ensure that our programs were not only effective but also sustainable in the long term. This involved building local capacity, securing funding, and developing innovative solutions to address emerging challenges. It also meant fostering a culture of continuous learning and improvement, always striving to do better and make a greater impact. As we embarked on this next chapter, I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey we had taken and the people who had been part of it. It was a journey filled with challenges and triumphs, setbacks and breakthroughs. But above all, it was a journey of hope and transformation. Standing at the threshold of new possibilities, I looked back on the path that had led us here, from a small village learning center to a global network of educational hubs. Our mission had always been driven by a simple yet profound belief that education can change lives. The stories of our students, like Amal and Fatima, echoed in my mind. Their resilience and determination were a testament to the power of learning and the human spirit. They reminded me why we started this journey and why we must continue. In the heart of our village, the annual cultural festival was in full swing. The air was filled with the sounds of music, laughter, and conversations in multiple languages. Stalls showcasing foods and crafts from around the world lined the streets, and children danced joyfully in colorful costumes. I wandered through the festival, greeted by familiar faces and new friends. Maria was teaching a group of children how to dance flamenco, her infectious energy drawing a crowd. Aisha was at the storytelling booth, captivating listeners with her tales. Fatima proudly displayed her handwritten poems, sharing her newfound literacy with the community. As I watched these scenes of connection and celebration, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The Learning Center had become more than a place of education. It was a vibrant community where people of all ages and backgrounds came together to learn, share, and grow. The festival's highlight was the storytelling night, a tradition that had become a cornerstone of our celebrations. People from different generations took the stage to share their stories, bridging the gap between past and present. This year, I had been asked to share the story of our journey. As I took the stage, the crowd fell silent, and I began to speak. I recounted the early days of the Learning Center, the challenges we faced, and the incredible people who had joined us along the way. I spoke of the transformative power of education and the importance of cultural exchange in fostering understanding and unity. Our journey, I said, is a testament to what we can achieve when we come together with a shared vision and purpose. It is a story of hope, resilience, and the belief that we all have the power to make a difference. I looked out at the audience, seeing the faces of friends, students, and community members who had been part of this incredible journey. This is not the end, I continued. It is just the beginning. Together, we will continue to learn, grow, and create a brighter future for all. As I concluded my speech, the audience erupted in applause. The sense of community and shared purpose was palpable, a reminder that we were all part of something greater than ourselves. The festival continued late into the night with music, dance, and storytelling, bringing people together in joyous celebration. It was a fitting tribute to the journey we had taken and the bright future that lay ahead. In the quiet moments after the festival, I reflected on the road ahead. There were still many challenges to overcome and opportunities to seize. But I was confident in our ability to rise to the occasion. With the support of our community and partners, we would continue to expand our reach, innovate our programs, and make a lasting impact on the world. The story of the boy who learned English had come full circle. From a young dreamer in a small village to a leader of a global movement, I had witnessed firsthand the transformative power of education and community. And as I looked to the future, I knew that our journey was far from over. Together, we would continue to write new chapters, guided by our shared vision of a world where everyone has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. It was a journey of hope, resilience, and endless possibilities. And so, with a heart full of gratitude and a spirit ready for new adventures, I embraced the future with open arms. The journey continued.